All right, and we're back. It is episode 19 of Paper and Plastic. I am your host, Pop and Sloth, and this is our other host, Dr. Plagus. And we've got a special guest today. Hey, how's it going there?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Um, do you want to, I guess, just tell us a little bit about yourself and where people might be able to find you?
Yeah, I'm primarily on Instagram. I go by Mutant Mansion Comics. Um, you pretty much find me there. Eventually, I'm gonna venture off to YouTube, like you fine fellas. I'm a big fan of both of you guys. I been watching your shows when I can. 2 hours is quite a feat for me to sit down and watch something, but when I can, I try to finish up some episodes because I really enjoy your content. Um,
Thank you.
I've been pretty close with Jacob, I think, for over a lot since we've met. And we got a lot of the same ways we collect and just the action figures, the all that stuff, the hunt, run collecting. I love it. You know what I mean? Like it's what I love most about comics, just being happy about it. And I just try to I try to be like active as possible in the community, just trying to like spread positivity and just like engagement. You know what I mean? When I first started this my Instagram, I'll put out posts and there'd be like one like, or I'd be like, hey, what do y'all think about this? And it'd be like nobody. It's just like crickets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think what I try to do is just create as much positivity and support for other people, just because I know how it feels not to get it. And yeah, I mean, I just love comics, you know. Who does it, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's funny that you kind of hit on that because we were gonna kind of jump into the topic of community, and you kind of just like presented that really well. It's funny because I was just having a conversation with West Coast Avengers, and I was just I have my Instagram account set to like a professional account or whatever,
Mhm.
so it gives you like
The
a,
feedback.
a lot of analytics, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
like that.
I very rarely jump into those because they're pretty discouraging. Um, but I don't know why I got into it, but I did. I got into the analytics, and I had saw that I was down like -3% in followers. Like over the last month or so, I've lost like 18 followers, and I don't know what that I don't know if that's actually people unfollowing me or people deleting accounts. Or
I can tell you
what?
what it is right now because I watch it quite often. It's a lot of times we'll get just like if you're because I have the same thing, I have a business account. A lot of times people will just join, right? And it's like this thing, it's like a follow for a follow type deal. So a lot of times I'll follow people back, and especially when I first started my account, I was just follow anything back. And what they'll do is they'll follow you, you follow them, and then they'll be like, unfollow. Now they've got your follow. And I'm not paying attention that closely. I was just trying to sell comics at first. So I'm like, I don't care necessarily. But now, what I started doing is, especially lately, is really like what I'll just log into Instagram and I'll see like 5, 6 new follows, and I'll just like kind of scan their account, and it'll be like this BS AI motivation, gym motivation,
Oh yeah,
car, travel, fashion, blah blah blah. If it ain't comics, I just don't even. I'm just like whatever, because all these are a lot of like a lot of bot accounts and things like that nature.
yeah,
And I just try to
yeah,
like just keep it comics, dude.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's engagement is really, you know, really difficult thing to find on social media.
Yeah.
Ironically, but it's really nice uh, to get people like you who do engage, who start conversation, who do things
Thank
to
you.
bring community together. You had me on your show, uh, which I'll let you kind of talk about because it's still going. You guys had an episode a week ago, right?
Yeah, so we brought it back. I do a show with the Comic Underground. They're very close friends of mine. I love them dearly, and I just love what they're doing. We originally were a part of a selling group, and that didn't work out. So I had left prior to them, and I just wasn't messing with any of them. I was just like waiting, hoping that they would leave, and they did. And then they formed this thing, this beautiful thing called the Comic Underground, and it's just like it's a selling platform. It's a engagement platform where you talk about movies or shows that always have like questions and things like that. I'm in a chat, a community chat with them. I'm in a sellers chat with them. Honestly, I won't sell with anyone else unless I'm just like posting things on my page. Um, so and they just it's not really about making money. It's more about the community. They've done showcases on like certain people, Jacob, me as well.
Yeah.
And that is just awesome, just kind of like spreading that um just the joy and just people that are really into it. You know what I mean? That I have a strong passion for reading and collecting and just comics in general. I'm not the biggest like movie TV guy, mainly because a lot of it kind of lets me down, to be honest. But what I'm saying is what they're doing is something phenomenal. I'm not like a member, but I'm a full supporter of them big time. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but yeah, I like I just said right before we went live. I was like, I started Mutant Mansion to quit my job and sell comics and blah blah blah. And once I got out there, I was like, seeing a lot of things I didn't really weren't going to work out. You know, I won't try to get too much into it because it's kind of negative, and it's just but I started to change my focus, and that's when I really started enjoying it. And when my friends started the Comic Underground, like Kate and Kyle and all these guys, um, they really kind of reinvigorated me, and it moved me to do something different where it was just like, hey, if I sell comics, I sell comics. And when people do buy from me, I want them to be happy as hell when they get their stuff, I might throw in something free. I might surprise them. I might even send you something without you even knowing, just so I can get that like that that joy from somebody. You know what I mean? That's what it's about, dude.
Yeah.
It's for me. A lot of selling is just, man. There's a lot of grease out there, and I just don't
Yeah.
want to be greasy. I just want to enjoy the books, and have people like you guys. Like I go in my day to day life, and I'll talk comics with people, and they'll be like, "Oh, I've seen the Iron Man movie." You know what I mean? Like that's not what I need someone I could talk about exquisite corpses to,
Yeah.
or what's another good one I'm reading? This is stuff I'm reading right behind me. So right now I'm reading Thor. It's kind of painful for me. I'm not gonna lie. The Alex Ross covers are beautiful.
Mm.
I love them. After that, the story, kind of loses me. I'm not the biggest Thor guy, I'll be honest. So this is like the first time I really read a full run per se. And it's Al Ewing. He wrote Immortal Hulk. I love that,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And I never read Hulk before in my life. So I was like, oh man,
Mhm.
maybe lightning can strike twice. Unfortunately, Thunder God, lightning, no, didn't happen. Not for me at least. Maybe
Mm,
somebody's enjoying this. It just isn't me. But I am excited about reading this because this G.I. Joe right here, I have not gotten to
Oh
it yet,
yeah.
but I read all the books leading up to it. Cobra Commander,
mm,
Duke, Transformers, Void Rivals, blah blah blah. I mean, what's that guy's name that's writing Transformers?
Oh,
Ooh, Daniel.
Daniel Warren
Yes,
Johnson. Yeah, yeah.
and he's drawing it too.
Mm.
Hmm.
Oh, 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 so good. He
I
deserved
think I
every.
think his run is coming to an end next issue
Oh, it's so sad
soon.
because it's been phenomenal. And
Yeah, it
yeah,
really has some of the best stuff in a long time.
but to talk about the engagement again, I think that in a sense of community, right? I think the biggest thing is something I learned from Kate, really, sharing people's stuff, right? Getting that mention, that this, and someone like you, Jacob, that's looking at the analytics, you see the numbers difference than like me just put something on a post, right? Or if you share it, or Kate shares it, or the underground shares it, whatever, right? Those numbers will be like so much higher. And a lot of
Hmm.
people just don't do it. I mean, I just do it because I just love to help people out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? If people do it back for me, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. It was just something I found interesting. And what I was kind of talking to Dave about it was, Dave puts out content that just, I mean, speaks to me. I love everything he does so much, and
He's
you
got a nice
know,
voice.
yeah,
Hmm.
he really does. He's
Kind of
got
like
like
Sloth.
he's got the perfect podcast voice. Um, but every Sunday morning, I'm like a kid on Saturday morning waiting for his video to drop. Um, he does his live sales on Wednesday, and like a lot of times I may not even be buying, but I'll just sit there and yeah, just listen.
Yeah.
He's just got good opinions, good perspective, but he doesn't necessarily have he has a large following, but it's not like, some of these other bigger content creators who I won't name. Some of them I like, but their following just doesn't feel nearly as genuine. Maybe
Mm,
it's because at a certain, large number, it just kind of, seems that
right.
way. But like Dave's got a following, and I don't know how much it is, but we'll say it's 10,000. But like his engagement is really, really large. Like his live sales on YouTube, he's always got, hundreds of people in there. And I just feel like he's kind of over time built this very organic cult following, which
Yeah.
ultimately is what I would rather have. I would rather have 100 followers and all 100 of them be engaged rather than 10,000 followers and have only 100 of them be engaged, right?
Right.
Um, so
Definitely.
I don't care so much about the numbers. It doesn't like sway me to try necessarily like try new things. Like
Hmm.
I'm gonna do what I want to do with my content creation, and I will, I'll
Definitely.
try new things and I'll expand myself, but ultimately what I'm doing is really for my own pleasure. When I edit my
Right.
reels, those are like 100% to my liking. I probably go back and watch those more than anybody else because it's just like I get to relive those awesome hunts, those awesome days and trips and stuff.
I
um
yeah.
and if they only get 100 views, hopefully those 100 people or whoever that watched them enjoyed it. And that's ultimately really what I care about. But it's just an interesting thing because I feel like, there's content out there that isn't as good as, what some of us are producing, but they're going viral and all this stuff. And I don't know, it's just kind of a sad place that the world's in when it comes to some of those things. But
It's a it's a very strange thing.
it really is, yeah.
I've also come across that I was thinking about it today before I even talked to you guys, and I was just like, I kind of just wanted a place where there's someone for someone like me, Do you know what I mean? I'm not like just a seller or just a reader or just a collector. I'm something of a mix of all those things.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I kind of, and I love to make people laugh. I love making silly uh cosplays. I don't know if you guys, I mean, I know Jacob's seen some of them and you guys used them in the thumbnail. Oh man, that's so funny, dude, because with
Epic,
the
man.
reactions are so funny because the people that laugh, I feel like understand me. And then the other people, they're just kind of like,
Yeah, right. No, I mean it's great. I got a sense of humor out of that, that like, not that like it's embarrassing by any means. It's just like some people might be uncomfortable to put themselves out there like that where you did, and it's really just like it was funny. Like the Captain America, I mean, yeah, that was just
just,
a great photo. And like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I love that, man. It really got a genuine laugh out of me, and I'm sure a lot of people. And um yeah, truly,
So
yeah.
let me tell you the story behind this. So I was reading the previews of some upcoming books. I love to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to the new books, right? Not all the time can I go to the LCS every single Wednesday, right? I have two small children and I have an 18-year-old. I have a busy life, to be
Yeah.
honest. And So I was just sitting on the couch and I was like, oh man, Chip Zdarsky's about to write a Captain America book. How cool is that? And I think there's like a cover by him. Like, what did he draw something? I was like, this is so cool. 'Cause I'm a big Chip fan, right? I almost read everything that he puts out. I don't even care. Um, yeah, sometimes it's not always great, not every writer hits every time for the same, reader. But I do love him, and I've always wondered, what would it like if somebody really good wrote for Cat, And then I was like, this is amazing. And then, Liefeld's picture just came to me in my head. And I was like, I've got the silly masks that my kids wear. I put them on for my cosplays, right?
Yeah.
I think my wife bought like a bunch of masks and they came with like capes. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
Hulk has a green cape. Oh yeah, that happens, right?
Yeah, we have those too.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, let me recreate that awful picture where he's like got his chest the wrong way, and you know, Rob Liefeld is somebody that when I was a kid, I just adored his work, and it was new, it was fresh to me. Him and like McFarlane, and a lot of the anything like newer, I felt more of a connection to. Right now, I'm older, I can appreciate like Kirby and
Hmm.
Stanley and all this other things, right? But when I was a kid, I was like, this is friggin' boring, right? I'm trying to
Yeah.
read Thor, and he's like, I thou thee, this, that. I'm like, what the you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can't understand this. I'm a kid. So, I'm in a comic book club with my friend Kate, and we read Daredevil Born Again, right? I never read that. That came out when I was like 7, right? So I'm just reading it, and it's just like very adult, very like you're dealing with drug addiction and gangsters and hitmen and Matt Murdock's like at one point he's like, I got $2 for breakfast. That'll be good. And I'm like, $2 in New York for breakfast? What in the that's crazy to me. I was in New York a couple of years ago and breakfast was a lot higher. So
Yeah.
it was just amazing to like I forgot where I was going with it. I just I don't know. Why was I talking about this? I don't know.
I
The
was saying,
The Liefeld
Yes,
cover.
Liefeld, yes. So that kind of stuff just didn't reach out to me. So anything new and like colorful and Liefeld, McFarlane, all this kind of stuff I grip to. And I just shared something about like the classic X-Men. Like that was like new to me. So that was like what I was gonna read. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It was a number one, right? because I didn't have that. I wasn't about to pick up, even though I picked up Amazing Spider-Man like way late because that was the only run. You know what I mean? Hobgoblin was like new to me. I cared for more for him than Green Goblin, right? Green Goblin's like some old dusty, you know what I mean? This
Oh
guy's been
yeah.
in a million battles with Spider-Man by the time I'm getting into comics. So, but Hobgoblin, I was like, whoa, this is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really gravitated towards that. And the sad thing about Liefeld for me personally is I feel like it got worse. Does that make sense? Like his characters now just have like guy liner and they're
Mhm.
just like very much all look the same. But
Mhm.
I picked up something in here from my hunt the other day that I remember picking up off the rack, and I don't have a lot of those memories. It was like an annual. It was like Atlantis Attacks or something. And the
Mm,
way Marvel's going right now, they'll probably bring that back like any day now. You know,
yeah.
it's just like I just Marvel. Very sad for me is something is least little. I don't read a lot of it, the new stuff. It's been coming off my pool more and more.
Hmm.
Mainly because of the events and a lot of the recycling. Oh, it just makes me sad.
Mhm.
Where Image is king right now for me in the writing, and some of the other indies. And I've been
Yeah.
reading more DC. I never read a lot of DC when I was a kid. I read a lot of this. So this spoke to me when I went to that sale. Batman and the Outsiders is this
Oh
supposed
yeah.
to?
Yeah.
So I thought about this and I was like, I wonder what was going on in the editorial room. There was like, all right, we got this team, the Outsiders, right? We got like Black Lightning and the lady with the sword, I don't remember her name. And this guy, what is his name? Metamorpho or something, right?
Oh yeah.
And they're like, oh man, this team isn't gonna, you know, we need someone to carry this team. All right, Batman's part of this team. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, but so the funny thing is the way I got into comics as a kid, my grandfather, instead of like purchasing like a bunch of books, he would just go to the library and get like a stack like this for for me for like the summer. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They would all be random. You know what I mean? I would never read a full run of anything. I'd read like things like Who's Who and Batman and the Outsiders and just whatever. And I didn't
Mhm.
care. You know what I mean? I wanted to know
Yeah.
everything. I was like, I want to know it all.
Yeah.
All right, here it is. I finally found it. It was like the last book in here.
Mm.
This is Atlantis Attacks, New
Oh yeah.
Mutants.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh God, I remember picking this up off the rack, and I
Is that
just
an
found this.
annual
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yes, yes. And annuals used to like really touch me as a kid. Not really touch me, not like Michael Jackson style,
Yeah.
um, but really like I was like they're thicker, right?
Yeah.
They had
Yeah,
these
New
cool
Mutants
things.
had really, really great annuals and like the summer and winter specials. Good stuff.
Dude, and the artwork's phenomenal. I mean, this is Liefeld at his like prime, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I know he gets a lot of hell for drawing feet, but I'll be honest, I wasn't looking at feet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I wasn't going, Where's the feet?"
Yeah. And it's my understanding, Doc, you recently completed a run of something special. Is that am I correct?
Yeah. So first I'll just say what's up to some of the chat members, Samrock and Zimman, Omega Collectibles.
Mm.
He took the trip with me this weekend to Portland, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Eric from Nine Panel, our guest from last week. How's it going? I'll just give him a quick plug. I watched his new series that he had spoke about last week, and I had shared it on my story. Really good. It's like a really nice look ahead at things that are coming out, covers. Um, the name of it's skipping my mind right now, which is pretty typical. Um, but anyways, yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to have Joe on was, I guess because I was on his show Off the Rack with the other members of the Comic Underground. I had just assumed that he was a part of the Comic Underground. Um, we were hoping to have Kate on as well because basically kind of what the Comic Underground does is it really like brings together the community of people. Like he said, highlighting members of the community. Just getting people to interact by asking, polls, Batman or Superman type stuff. Um, but I know that they're very well connected with sellers as well. So the two people I was most familiar with from the Comic Underground was Joe here and Kate. And so initially, when I got down to only needing 3 issues to complete my big Green Lantern run, I actually put a message out to Joe here and Kate that if they could just help spread the word. I probably had shared it on my story, like, hey, I'm just looking for these 3 issues to complete my run. Gave the word to them and they spread it. And probably like within an hour, I had a message in my inbox from a seller who had all 3 issues. And
Nice.
he made me a really really great deal on them. Like I want to say that each individual issue, when I was looking online, I was looking at like close to $100 a piece, and he ended up selling me all 3 for pretty much the price of one. um
Nice. Nice. Hell yeah, dude.
so needless to say, we had a deal, and I got those books last week, and this insane long journey of completing. Technically, it's considered volume 2 of Green Lantern, but this is, in my opinion, the original Green Lantern run. Hal Jordan, um, you know, all the big first appearances. You've got Guy
Wow.
Gardner, Star Sapphire, John Stewart. You've got the start of the Bronze Age, I think is kind of what they consider. Issue 76 was like the start of the Bronze Age. Um, Kilowog, the Green Lantern Corps, like all just everything comes out in this run. So yeah, I'm done. It's complete. It's crazy. I Some of my oldest memories of being intrigued by superheroes and stuff of this nature uh was Green Lantern. GI Joe was another, Ninja Turtles. But I actually still have the original figure, which originally was my uncle's, and it's one of the like DC superhero figures from they originally came out in 1984, and so my uncle had them in his toy collection. And then as I turned, 2, 3, and I started stealing his toys, I had this Green Lantern figure that I knew nothing about other than he was green, which is my favorite color, and he kind of looked, with the mask, he looked like a ninja, and I was really into martial arts and stuff, so I, you know, was intrigued by this character, which eventually grew into loving. So obviously, the entire run is 224 issues. So I'm not gonna, show off the whole thing, but I'm just gonna show off some of my favorites. The first one is you got the first cover appearance of Sinestro here. Just
Ooh.
so many great covers of him and Hal, where uh, Sinestro's clearly just antagonizing this poor dude. Um, Another one is the Star Sapphire cover. This was one of the first big keys that I bought of this run, and probably one of my favorites. Really love Star Sapphire. Obviously, This is a
Yes.
big one right now. First appearance of Guy Gardner, and just a great cover of his, very arrogant self. And then this was the one I was talking about. I think they consider this the start of the Bronze Age. Just an awesome Green Arrow, Green Lantern cover. I'm on a
Very cool.
huge Green Arrow kick right now. I'm reading the current run as well as two of the older runs, like all simultaneously. They're kind of starting to
Dang.
blend together. It's getting very confusing. Here you got the first appearance of John Stewart. Uh,
Yes. You got
that
all the man.
Yeah, it's a big one. This is one of my favorites. This is an awesome. So Mike Grell's pretty famous for his Green Arrow run. Obviously, in the '70s, and I can't remember what it goes through to, but it becomes Green Lantern and Green Arrow. I think it goes into the hundreds. But just an awesome Mike Grell cover here. One of my favorites covers of
Nice.
the entire run. And then just this awesome cover of
Oh,
the
of
Green Lantern Corps with the first
course. Why not?
appearance of Kilowog there, and it's a newsstand. Actually, this one's a Mark Jewelers. And then, of course, I showed this off weeks ago. This was the big accusation in the whole thing, the number one, which is just such a classic cover.
Wow.
So, yeah, I there's definitely a sense of like contentment here. I actually had a really hard time hunting last weekend. Like, I just didn't feel as motivated to like find stuff. I mean, I found a lot, but it was like I oftentimes found myself like, what am I looking for? Like
Dude, that's me every time.
I don't know. This just feels. I've
That's
completed a lot of stuff. New Mutants. I completed that volume 1 run. What's another one? Another big one was Chris Claremont's run of the X-Men. I completed. Yeah.
this was a highlight of my hunt from this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Um, everything I got was for $1. I didn't know it was a dollar sale. It was a private LCS backdoor 30 people only. And then as soon as the door opened, these guys are just like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'll start here. And then I just ended up in the box with like every Robin 2 and 3
Oh
that's in
yeah.
the city. And I'm like, what is this? So I was lucky to get that book because it's a fun one, And
Yeah.
unlike you, there is one run that I have been collecting for quite some time, and I'm okay with kind of going slow.
Yeah.
And I got a big, big part of it today. Kind of wanted to show it off. Is
Oh
this
yeah.
X-Men #5? I don't
Wow.
know, the glare bad or not. But
Yeah.
this thing says third appearance of Magneto, second appearance of Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, Mastermind, and Toad. And it's a very nice 4-5, I
Yeah.
must say. I sold a 94 that was a 4.0 just recently. It was a yeah. I, I basically sold it way lower than FMB and up. I was kind of like okay with it. Cause
Yeah, that one's got the black spine where the ticks just stand out like a sore thumb.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is number I think 404, so maybe 140 to go.
Wow.
And I've got all the 200s, all the 300s, most of the fours. I need some of the fours, fives, and then after that it's like it's expensive. So
Yeah. Yeah, it sure
trying,
does.
trying. And I'm also collecting Spawn, and I'm at the point where it's like hundreds and 200s, and it's like
Oof.
and then every seller's like, low print run. $100. And I'm like, there's a reason it was low print run. It
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah. Yeah. You can find those cheap still.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, those two runs, I'm okay with going pretty slow. So I
Yeah.
find them, I find them. I don't. Pop, how do you collect? What do you? I want to know more about you. You're like an enigma for me. I don't know so much about you. I want to know more.
He,
Are you a run collector? Are you a
Me?
reader? Are you
yeah,
just like
Uh,
he's a
Keys?
simple man.
yeah, I'm a simple man. I just buy the new stuff that's coming out for the most part. The one run that I'm very slowly putting together is the original Moon Knight Volume One run.
Nice.
Um, Gosh, I've got less than 10 issues to collect on that, and it's probably been like I haven't gotten an issue for that in probably about a year or two. Uh, just
Sometimes it's like that.
yeah, just I've dug through every bin in the city, and I've picked
Oh,
up what I needed to get, and yeah. So no, a couple graded things here and there, a little bit recently, just a lot of modern stuff. I don't do too much pre 90s.
old dusties.
Yeah, anything before the 90s,
So
I
one
don't
of the
just don't
one of the
mind.
things I picked up is something I don't normally ever pick up, and this is House of Secrets, and this
Mm,
thing
Oh
has
yeah.
been through hell. I every almost live sale I've ever been in or watched, they're always like guys are like, yeah, man, House of Secrets. And I'm just like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, what's the big deal? So I got this. I'm gonna read it just to figure it out because I'm so like I had a friend, a guy named Old Man Warrior is his name on Instagram. He's a real good dude, and he's big into the PCH stuff, the pre-code horror.
Mm.
And I was just like, why do these dudes get all jacked up for this? That's like my grandfather's books. You know what I mean? Like, but for like me and like I'm collecting like X Force Volume One, right? And this was awesome to me as a kid. That's why I love it. You know what I mean? It was once again where it was a new team. I jumped right on board, and but the other stuff, and then he kind of like really educated me on it, and he was just kind of like he like took a time out of his day. Like I called him, and he was like he's just like that passionate about it, where he was just like call me and we'll talk about it, and was just like broke it down for me, and I was like, yeah, that is kind of cool. It's like these books came out before this code, and they were pretty awful. And like people were like, "What the hell?" Because these kids are getting them. There's like decapitated heads and like violence to women and all kinds of stuff happening. And then he was saying that like at one point they were like burning these books, and they were used in like the Senate and all this other stuff. To like, I was like, "Whoa, that's wild." It's just a nice piece of history. I
Yeah.
still can't go. I'd rather have a GSX one than any pre-code horror.
Yeah.
That's just me. But I get it. I understand. And this kind of stuff too. It's like $1. I love Sam Keith. You know what I
Mm.
mean? How can you
Oh
not?
yeah.
And what about this? A lot of people sleep on Valiant, man, and
mm,
this is a Jim Lee cover. Like, how cool is that,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yep.
Um, Yeah, and another thing I've been doing, mainly because of my friend Jacob here, it is his pairings with
mm,
the figure in the book is picking up action figures, right?
I've been
mhm.
waiting
I
for this.
I just picked up
Oh,
this
there you
GI
go.
Joe, this Duke. How freaking
Yeah.
cool is that, bro?
Yeah.
Look
That's an
at the
awesome figure.
weapons, dude. I think it's like toes bend. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like the GI Joes I grew up with, they weren't this freaking cool, man.
No. Oh
They
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to open this guy and take him for a swim. You know what I
Do it.
mean? In the
Rip
bathtub.
that open.
I might actually video it and like dub
Yeah.
my voice on it and be like, I'm gonna kill you, Duke.
Mhm.
He's like,
They're
"It's
yeah,
my
they're
dead body."
they're mass produced. They're mass produced, dude. Those aren't going to be worth anything
Oh
in the
yeah,
package. Rip them out
exactly.
of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I just haven't had time. But a
Yeah.
lot of people are like, "Oh man, keep it in the box." I was like, "What? I'm gonna be dead before these things are worth anything."
Right. So many people I hear say that they're going to like leave this stuff to their kids, and I'm just like, okay,
Nah.
I've been in the LCS when the kids come in with their dead dad's collection and they sell, $100,000 worth of comics for $500.
Yeah.
Your kids don't want this shit. I'm telling
No.
you, like
They don't. They're
whatever
just
you
like,
have, whatever you think
whatever
it's
you can
worth.
give
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the expensive stuff, I kind of talked to my oldest about it. She's like, Dad, I just kind of want to like read it or whatever, if you like pass away. Like she's like, I'd rather like keep it than, give it away for pennies or something, like
Yeah.
it is very sad. I've seen a lot of collections come through LCS doors and they're just like, get it out of here. And I'm like, I almost like want to follow them out in the car and be like, hey, what do you got?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
Uh,
few more
I'm
people in the chat here. Mark, son of Union Gap, and then Samrock saying some stuff.
Yeah, he was saying, Samrock, I look for random comics. I've had to make a folder in my phone with pictures of what I'm looking for. Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Eric
Melt,
talking about Green Arrow.
yep. The Brian Meltzer had a really great 5-issue arc on Green Arrow in the early 2000s. Such a cool character.
Yeah, definitely.
I haven't.
Um,
I'm gonna look at some of this other stuff I got from I got a bunch of Teen Titans just because of like a Perez mark, you know what I
oh
mean?
yeah.
Like another childhood favorite.
Mhm.
Yep.
I've got now two Wonder Woman ones signed by him. I wish
Ooh.
I would have brought those here to show you. But I think I'm gonna get them pressed and I might just get them graded. I don't even care what grade they come out, just to have them like just to have his signature on that beautiful artwork on that number one.
Yeah.
Even on the
Preserve
back.
it.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
preserve it because I mean he's a legend in my mind.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I just love his stuff. Like these covers are just amazing. They
Yeah.
just they just bring me back to that time when a
Yeah.
simpler time, where all
Yeah.
I cared about was getting my hands on this.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, and I've definitely that's kind of my era of what I really enjoy. Another one that I got, which kind of falls in line with that, an awesome Milgram cover was I got the first
Ooh.
appearance of Mystique here.
Oh, that's so confusing about her first appearance is like there's like 10 cameos. Like, what's that about? Like she was like,
Yeah, yeah. So this is Miss Marvel 18, and so 16 and 17 have cameos of her. But I think 18 she is fully revealed like as her true form.
she's doing Blueface, basically.
Yeah, right there.
Blue face.
So that's the panel there. But also kind of another one that I really like is that first appearance of Hellcat. So
Oh wow.
I picked those up at the
Now, do you
LCS.
have all her cameos, like 16, 17, and whatever?
Yeah, I do. That Miss Marvel run is actually one that I'm piecing together little by little. It's actually really good. Not a character that I'm super into, but that original run is actually pretty enjoyable.
Hmm.
Mostly because I think the supporting characters that are in it. Yeah. So
Now,
and then
this
I.
is. Oh, go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No, you're good.
I was going to show off this Magnus the robot fighter.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Oh man, dude, how real is this now? You know what I mean? With
yeah.
AI and all these freaking
Right.
robots and shit people are making. Oops, can I cuss here? Oh.
uh,
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, like how we're gonna need this dude soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, another one I got is Magnus Robot Fighter versus Predator, and this is
Oh
a Barry
wow.
Windsor Smith cover
Okay.
here. Oh,
that's sick.
love his artwork.
Yeah.
I
That's
would love
awesome.
to collect that as well because yeah, he's an awesome person. And the thing about Valiant is it came back. Uh one of my LCS made a joke. He's like, "Oh, Valiant keeps screwing me over." I was like, "How?" He's like, "They keep making books."
Keep making-
So I'm like the only person probably that has like every Valiant thing on his pool because I
Yeah.
just love, that spoke to me as a child as well. That
Sure.
was that was like groundbreaking image. I was there when it was formed.
Yeah.
Valiant when it was like. all these people left Marvel to be actual creators and own their own characters. Like, how friggin' cool was that to be like, this was happening before your eyes? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The stories weren't there like they are today, but the artists were. And back then that was enough to leave. I mean, like, forget Marvel, right? Um, but yeah, super super exciting time, and
I would say
I
that the stories just don't necessarily hold up today, but for their time, I mean, it really takes you back to a time, I think.
right.
But that was a time when we're, a lot younger, and that stuff was, like you said, it was fresh and it was cool. But yeah, just as a more matured adult, I guess, and I use
Oh
mature
yeah.
loosely. It's just not, yeah, it's not what it
Oh
is these
yeah.
days.
Oh heck no. But I did get a bunch of the so Valiant like went under, and like Alien like is now publishing them,
Mm,
right? So they came out with
Mm.
another. I love like Exo Manowar is my favorite out of all of
Oh
them,
yeah,
because it's like having Conan in an Iron Man suit. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, Ark is much smarter than Conan, but um, it's just a cool concept. And this guy can just go through space and other planets and do things. Um, but I do have a lot of those alien books. I have not read a single one, mainly
mm,
because I've been just reading. When we were doing the off the rack show every single week, I was trying to keep up with the Joneses there because they like to read new books. I just kind of like read whatever I got here because I'm behind plenty.
yeah,
I was out of comics for many years, and I got back into it in 2016, 2017. And I'm unlike Sloth is a very young man, looks like. I'm a
mm,
very old man, so I was out of it for a long, long time. So I read a lot of old and new stuff, and it's just hard to keep up because some of this stuff just comes out so fast.
yeah.
That's a big reason why I don't do a lot of Marvel is the events, the
Hmm.
60 issue one shots and all this. And let's say I'm not even partaking in the events, right? I'm just reading Moon Knight. And then all of a sudden, now Moon Knight's in Devil's Reign or this or
mm,
that. I'm like, you just ruined like 3 issues of my perfectly fine run
mm.
that's a storyline I don't care about. You know what I mean? Like, I just got really just they got me with Krakoa because obviously Mutant Mansion, right? I'm a big X-Men
Oh
fan,
God,
right?
Mm.
yeah.
So they got me good, and I just made like a storage box on my CLZ app to see how many books did I read because I didn't get all of them, but I got a lot of them. And it was like 385 or something crazy
Jeez.
like that.
Yeah.
And I was fully invested. I was like, Hickman, this
Mm.
new thing, all the mutants together. Magneto was right. You know what I mean? I was on board, bro. And I was just like, I remember my last final, I was like, I got to catch up to this. It's almost over. They're ending it. And I did 60 issues in a row. I didn't read anything else. After that, they're like, I was like burnt to a crisp on X-Men. I was just like, I cannot. And then they're like, from the ashes. And I was like, nah, no, 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 no. You need to
No.
stay ashes for a while.
Mm,
Yeah.
Okay. Because I cannot do it. And I
mm,
ended up getting like Wolverine, a couple of the X-Men, and I went to like issue like 9 or 10 before I even read a single one. I was like, I had to cut them off because I was just like, I can't. I still have mutant fatigue from that. I
Yeah.
got like PTSD from it, right? I'm
mm,
just so many. So I'm like, I just wish that sometimes that they would just like halt the brakes and really put out a good storyline. And that's what I do tend to gravitate to when it comes to the big two is the Elseworld stuff. It's fresh, it's a new take,
yeah.
it's different, right? How many times can I read about Peter Parker taking pictures of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson's mad again. You know what I mean? That it just
Yeah.
gets so like
Repetitive. just the
Yeah,
same thing over and over again. And
I
I
just
agree.
can't.
I
I
agree.
can't.
Marvel just
And I'm finding, I read the entire Invincible run, and it is one of my favorite books.
mm,
But that can't happen unless those other things happen, right?
yeah.
A lot of that stuff he took from to make Mark and to make these villains and even make fun of like people like Batman and all these other
Mhm.
people. You can't do that without the history of the books prior, right? You
Exactly.
could obviously tell Kirkman was a fan of comics prior to this because of the way he put that in his story. And that was just so, oh, and the way that I don't know if you guys read it. I don't want to spoil anybody who hasn't read it, but the way that book, the challenges that Mark faces between his family and his dad and the Viltrumites, and then the way things play out and turn around. I don't want to spoil it.
Mhm.
Is just phenomenal. Another Kirkman book, Walking Dead. I watched every single episode of the show because mainly because I was like not into comics, and I was just honestly it took me a while to realize it was a comic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just like paying attention to the beginning. It's like, oh, based on a comic book, Robert Kirkman. I was like, huh? This is a comic book? Like I was out of comics when it started. I watched every single episode, 11 seasons, and then I was like, you know what? I'm reading this. And
Mm,
I went and bought every 32 issues of the trade, and I plowed through it, and I was like, this is great. Great, great, great. Because I will tell you something about Kirkman and those two books. He knows how to finish. A
mhm.
lot of these stories have great ideas, great premises, and you're on it. You're like, I'm in, man. And then they just, and
Mhm.
you're just like, what the heck happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I would suggest those two stories. If you've never read those, they're a must. And then people are like, I don't like zombies. But I'm like, you know what? You know how little it is about the zombies? You know what I mean? It's more about how the people survive and how they grow together and bring back a society and the best they can in some of these communities and stuff like that. And it's just really good writing. Like there's a when the certain person dies in this book, and I'm not talking about Glenn. Um, I literally had tears come to my eyes. And I mean, I was just getting goosebumps just talking about this stuff to you
Mhm.
guys. Like, that's
Yeah.
how good the writing is. I'm just like, but it's amazing, dude. It is
Yeah.
and that's to me is more important than like a blockbuster movie. 2 hours will never replace that for me. You know what I mean? I watch, I'm happy for comic books in the sense that they do have a presence in Hollywood. But for me, it's just kind of like extra things, and it's a separate thing for me, you know? It's
Yeah.
just like it is what it is, and I don't go watch like everything. I tried that before and I was just like, why am I doing this? I have never one for instance is Thunderbolts. I've never read Thunderbolts. I've seen the books. I just zero interest. Zero interest in the characters. And I just don't feel like forcing myself into it because I'm in the comics. I must see this. No, man. I just see the things that I love. Wake me up when it's Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah.
um Wake me up when there's the Secret War stuff or whatever. uh I'm not a super huge fan of like recycling actors as different characters, but I do understand that there's like a multiverse and all this other things. um so I wasn't like super pumped about Robert Downey Jr. playing like Dr.
Yeah.
Doom. I was like, yo, is there any like one of the things that really bugs me about Hollywood is like, can we just stop using old men all the time?
Mhm.
Like, how long? Like, I saw that Pierce Bronson was like Dr. Fate. I don't know how old Dr. Fate is in the books, but Pierce Bronson's goddamn 70 years old, okay? Uh,
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is a Hulk or something. That guy's like 190. What are we doing? Are there no young actors that are up and coming that we can grow into the role and that we can do like a trilogy and watch them grow up? Hugh Jackman, for Christ's sake, he's been Wolverine. I, I, I think there's no one else been Wolverine, right?
No.
It's been him. crazy. But that works because Wolverine's 100 years old. But it doesn't always work for everyone. And I can't believe one of my favorite Valiant characters was played by this aging guy that has like 12 movies racing cars, and they barely show him turn white. They show him turn white for like 1 second. I was like, and then they released this movie like 1 week before COVID happened. I was like, oh, it's just, ugh, just, yeah. I
Yeah.
love comics, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before we get too much further, are you doing okay on time there?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I should probably go to bed, to be honest.
yeah, because you're on the other side
These
of
guys got me going, bro.
Yeah.
Once I start talking, man, it's hard to
the.
stop me.
I see we got my brother here in the chat as well, so that's cool.
Yeah, dude. But before I go, I just wanted to say thank you for having me on. It really meant a lot to me, dude.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it all day, and it's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
appreciate it.
Did you show off everything?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, let me show you a couple of things. I got this too.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
This is just it's just a graphic novel of 1 through 4,
Oh
but still
nice.
cool in itself, right?
Yeah,
And then
very.
check out this artwork on the back. People are like,
Oh wow.
Miller's artwork sucks now. I'm like, what about this? This is
Yeah.
good. This is a long time ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, I got some of these from Liefeld action here,
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
right? Marvel Comics presents
classic.
again. Sam Keith, brilliant. Did I appreciate this as a child? No.
Oh really?
I
Oh
was
man.
like, what is this?
Oh.
I here's something you might like. Green
There you
Lantern
go.
and Arrow here.
Yeah. Now we're getting to
And
some tasteful stuff.
this is one of my favorite Wolverine covers that almost never gets
Oh
talked
yeah.
about.
Oh
This
yeah.
really, really spoke to me. You know what I mean?
Alpha
And
Flight has some sleepers, man. It really does.
it just yeah, it's like you said when I'm in there, I'm hunting and I'm hunting fast. Like this is like 30 dudes going as fast as they can. Some of these guys are looking for things to sell. Some of these guys are just looking for whatever. And
Yeah.
I just didn't know what I was looking for. I ended up with all this stuff from my childhood. I think I originally went there. I was like, oh, I'm gonna flip some stuff. That never happened, bro. Never
Mhm.
once. And I just kind of turned the page to like, just get something that you love, right? And it really turned out well for me. I think I bought like 50 books. So it was like 50 bucks. So
Nice.
like four.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I gotta go to bed. I will see you guys. Thank you so much
Don't be
Yeah.
for
cursing me
having me on.
tomorrow when you're tired.
Ah, no, dude. I'm leaving work early tomorrow because I got a doctor's appointment. So
All right, man.
I ain't worried about it that much.
Well, we'll have to get you back on after we've done some of the other guests on our list. So,
Yeah, definitely, dude. And I need to hit you up about doing one of these things because I definitely want to move to the YouTube so I can have more time to just like run my mouth. You know what I mean?
definitely. Yeah, Sloth kind of navigates the show, so he'd be more insightful, but yeah, we'll
Oh
definitely
yeah,
more than
definitely.
happy to help you
Definitely,
out.
bro. Yeah, I would appreciate that big time. And
Sure.
anything you need from me. You need something spread, I'll do it. I got you.
Hell yeah.
All right, man.
We really appreciate you stopping by and
Yep.
taking time out of your day to hang out and chat with us. And you just gave us a little bit of a wealth of knowledge and a little bit of insight, and I just really appreciate that.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you, man. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, I guess we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. Have a good
See you
night.
guys.
See ya. All right. Oh, that was easy. Okay. There we go. Okay, we're at the hour mark. Do you want we just do a quick sponsor shenanigans real quick?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Imperial.
I was gonna say
Oh
Mutant
yeah.
YouTube Comics on Instagram. Go check his stuff out. Links in
Yeah,
the
I'm not sure. I didn't catch if he's still doing the off the rack, but if you pop over to the I think he's got a post right there, yeah. So yeah, so I think they stream that on the Comic Underground page.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun show. They'll typically have a guest on, um, and they just kind of go around the table and talk about you know, 3 or 4 issues that they're currently reading. Um, and yeah, I had a really good time. I think actually I had I'd said a few times that I had thought Eric from Nine Panel Grid or Nick from Comic Culture had got me into the current Black Canary series.
Mm,
But now, when I was kind of looking at the off the rack earlier today, I realized it was while I was on their show.
mm.
Somebody in the four was reading that and talking highly of it, and so I jumped on that series like pretty much as soon as I got off the stream. I think I went out and found. Uh,
First couple
oh,
issues.
yeah, and now it's over. I just finished. I think it went 6 issues or 8 issues, and I finished it. Sorry, I got distracted. Someone in the chat was talking to me. YouTube addict. I think we'll be back.
For off the rack.
Oh, that's Joe.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that is Joe.
Okay.
He needs to fix his YouTube name. Every time I see that, I get stumped. But yeah, earlier when I said my brother was in the chat, that's Kenny.
Oh, Kenny. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Omega's my buddy who went to Portland with me.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
We'll do sponsors real quick, and then we'll get into. I'm curious about your Portland trip here.
yeah, I still have a little more haul to show. But yeah. Anyways, Imperial Comics, just a huge supporter of the show. Selling on so many platforms right now. I don't even I don't even know where to send you. But the good old trusty is obviously these story claims. It's my favorite way to buy from them. You know, same old, same old. You see the book you want, you claim it. You can build a stack, pay him after a week or two of building. Um, but he's also got his website, which, oh, look at that.
Oh,
Green Lantern. Yeah,
oh,
that's a good one.
dang.
Yeah, see what those issues are going for?
Mhm.
Actually, I should credit him. I want to say at one point he chipped off like 30 or 40 issues all at once for me. He was like, this was like midway through. He was like, send me your list. I think I could put a dent in it. And so I did. And yeah, he helped me out a lot on that Green Lantern journey as well. Um, and speaking of completing runs, his website's really great, easy to navigate, broken down into character categories. I think all books on the website are $5 plus your 20% off right now. So you could get a nice chunk of books on any of these runs that you're looking to work on or complete, or grab a couple issues from your childhood. um yeah, just awesome website. And then he's now over on Whatnot and killing it over there too. I think he's doing a show or two a week on Whatnot, plus nightly claim sales, doing some live sales on Instagram as well. So again, just a great seller, good supporter, great prices. Highly recommend if you're, buying books online, support this guy because he's a member of the community and he's given back, by supporting us. And we're not, I don't think we're the only ones. I think he's definitely, out there supporting a lot of other people as well. So,
Well,
yeah.
it sounds like he helps the cycle of of books, flowing.
Oh yeah.
He's a fellow who buys collections and then sells those collections, and
Yeah.
uh, we had him on. Was that last week or the week before?
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And hearing him talk about his business philosophy was just wonderful because he really is in it for the hobby, for the love of it, for the passion behind this industry that we're all we're all so deep inside of that. I don't think any of us are getting out anytime soon. So
Yeah, in so many different ways too. It's crazy. Yeah,
yeah,
like everybody knows, I do a bit of selling myself. Typically just again just to make my money back on collections that I bought to fill in my collection. And oftentimes I don't have anything available to people because he buys it up before I can get it out there to anyone else. So again, just supports me personally, supports our show. Um, and like you get if you get in tight with him, I'm sure whatever you're doing, he would support it as well, whether it's helping you complete a run or you're promoting your own thing. Just a great guy, great member of the community, and yeah, deserves all the support.
absolutely. And he's been with us since day one. So make sure you guys are checking out Imperial Comics for all your comic needs. Check out those story claims and check out the website. And I'm sure you're going to find something at a good price. And you may as well just hit checkout and call it a day. Uh, anything else on that? On that?
No, I'm just admiring the stuff that he's got up. There's some real like early Silver Age Batman there. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, this is stuff I feel like you don't come across at your local comic shop. This
Yeah.
is these are some gems.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, definitely check out his stuff. Links are in the description. Go check it out. uh, and then I'm just gonna do a really quick shout out to my good friend. They run a little eBay page under the name Anho9743. They're just a wonderful little seller out here in Canada. So, any of my Canadian friends, a little bit of a sponsor for you guys. Lots of great modern books, lots of really hard to find exclusives, ratios. Uh, it's also some random stuff that you might not expect to see on there, but usually all for pretty good, reasonable prices. So, I encourage any of my Canadian friends to check out this little eBay shop and support them because but I think that's at our core. The paper and plastic philosophy is we just want to support each other. We want everyone to succeed, um, because I feel like people want us to succeed, or we want you to succeed. So
Yeah.
we're trying to foster that support for everybody, and we appreciate everybody tuning in to us every week. And all the least we can do is point that your views in a direction as well. So if you guys want to support us, you can also support us by supporting the folks who support
Hmm.
us. So yeah, I
Definitely.
encourage you guys to check out some of the links in the description for all the folks, for all the people.
And hello to my good friends over at Comic Book Canon. I'm assuming Jeff. Um, Good to see you. And I'm working on a pretty awesome order of T-shirts for these guys right now. So hopefully in a week or so, I can reveal those on our show. Of course, after they've been revealed on their show, I won't spoil anything. But pretty cool design. Jeff's a pretty well versed guy in all things media, it seems like. So yeah, those will be a pretty awesome to show off. Again, yeah, I think it's just kind of like creating a, a big thing for us is creating that engagement. Like seems like there is a bit of a lack of it. So it's just I don't know, it's fun. Stop. It's fun just building these even just these little communities that we've got built here and having people to spend time with every week and talk about these things that we all love. There should be more of us, but for whatever reason there's not. So
You know what? We'll get there one day.
yeah.
Everyone will we'll shine
Well,
a beacon and
and I guess to kind of keep going on that too. So I don't know if you can pull up my story, but there's a picture on there I'd like to share. Um,
which one?
so it's the one of the three guys standing in front of the comic shop.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
This one here.
Yeah, so if you click on that picture, it'll take you to the actual picture itself, so it can kind of stay there. So, anyways, so um, I aside from what you see on social media, I'm very involved in my community and promoting comic books and the love of comic books. I mean, I think most people at one point in time held one or had one or read one or had interest in one. And so I'm like anybody I can talk to about it, not, you know, when I'm not talking, people like us, current collectors, current readers, I'm just talking anyone that'll listen to me talk about comics. I'm gonna, right?
Mhm.
So the guy that's wearing the hat, that's actually my business partner, my mentor. His name's Brad, and I've kind of known him my whole life, but about 6 years ago, started working for him. He's nearing retirement, and I'm taking over the business, which is actually his family's business.
Wow.
And it's been around since 1974. So I'm actually he never had any kids, isn't ever going to. So I'm kind of continuing his family's business legacy here in my hometown. Um, and again, just a life like overall life mentor, father figure to me. But he's also into comics. So we oftentimes don't get work done because we're talking about comics, what we're reading. We're definitely two different uh into separate stuff. He's really into cosmic. I like indie street level type stuff, magic, horror. I also like cosmic as well. But for the longest time, he's just kind of been a weekly comic guy. Doesn't go out hunting, wasn't really filling in runs. I mean, he had everything that he had from the 80s and 90s, so he had big runs of stuff, but like he loves Thor. And so he's not out like hunting down every Thor book ever made to complete, the entire Thor run, up until he met me and my passion for hunting and my reels and the stuff, he follows all of it, and it rubbed off on him. And so lately he's been on a big kick of just filling in runs, buying books of his favorite characters that he didn't have. So much that this weekend he was in Portland, and I told him about this shop here that he's in front of called Fallout. And I told him, it's a really great shop. It's pretty much just all $1, $3, and $5 bins. So you can just go in there and, bulk buy like crazy, which he loves. He loves to leave with a fat stack of books. But anyways, so the love of comics and the love of hunting and all of this fun stuff that involves comics has rubbed off on him. Well, these two guys standing next to him are his lifelong best friends who were also into comics when they were growing up with him. The one guy with just the white T-shirt, he actually still has his childhood collection. Well, because my love and passion is rubbed off on Brad, Brad has now rubbed that off onto his buddy there, who is now furthering his collection and getting back into the hobby. So then you get the guy in the middle, Robbie with the long hair. He also enjoyed comics with them back in their younger days. And they're all hanging out in Portland, so they all come to this comic shop. And here Robbie is jumping back into collecting. As you see, he's got a comic in his hand. He ended up buying that whole series that he has there, and so now he's getting into the hobby. Um, Brad had already planned on being in Portland this weekend.
Mhm.
I happened to see that one of my favorite shops in Portland, Excalibur, was holding a sale over the weekend that was kind of just like too good to pass on. So I decided I needed to head over there. I went to Excalibur. Brad and his buddies had already been there, and we actually happened to bump into each other here at Fallout. Completely not planned. Like, I wasn't talking to Brad at all over the weekend. I was actually watching his dogs for the weekend. So I was only able to make the day trip because
Mm.
Brad was there all weekend. I needed to get home to take care to feed his dogs and whatnot. But yeah, at one point we were all in there and we were joking around, and I had said something like, yeah, imagine you're supposed to be feeding your boss's dogs, but instead you're all the way in Portland hunting comics, something along those lines. That was, everybody got a good laugh out of. But yeah, it was just really cool being in the shop. They all had mentioned that they were there because of me, so I ended up getting like 10 free comics because of it. Because when I walked into the store, nobody was there. It was just me and my buddy that came with me. And then next thing you know, there was like those guys, another group of people, and the store was busy. And I think the shop owner was just really happy to have a lot of business at the time. And these guys were talking me up about getting them hyped on comics again, and everybody just kept saying, "Oh, I love this shop. I love this shop." And it is a really cool shop. So, yeah, fun weekend, and I just kind of wanted to, we were going to talk community, and so I just kind of wanted to tell that story. Reflecting on it later, I was just like, "Man, that was actually really cool." Like, all of these people are just really excited about comics again, and I don't know. That excites me. It
No, it's awesome. I
yeah.
mean, that's like seeing that spark reignite, right? Like it feels like you converted another one into the sacred the sacred life of collecting comics, and
Yeah.
yeah.
It definitely is, especially for Brad, because I mean, he's been collecting comics since before I was even born, and
Mhm.
like he could tell you all about stories and characters,
Mm.
but his lack of knowledge for everything else in comics, like value or key significance, stuff like that, I'm just like, dude, there is so much more to enjoy, be like, even beyond the stories. Like, the market is interesting, key significance is interesting. Like, he didn't even really understand, like, first appearance, like the day we found the Invincible #1, like, he had no idea what that was. Of course, once he found out the value of the book, he was super, super interested. But prior to that, it was like a nothing book to him. He's like, what, that old thing, Like, yeah, it's just crazy.
um did you have a couple more things to show off then, haul wise, real quick? I know we're already an hour and 20, almost hour and 20 minutes in,
Yeah.
but
So a little bit of haul stuff. Trying to see what Mark said here. Jacob is my news on all local and regional events. Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, I'm happy about that. Um, Gotham City Sirens, fun run that I'm chipping away at.
yeah.
Um, Half off at Excalibur, so I found a nice chunk. Such good covers on these, man. Like,
DC gives the ladies the best covers.
yeah. I mean, look at that, just beautiful.
So good.
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
Um, and awesome story. I can't wait to complete it and read it. In its entirety. I really love David Mack's character Kabuki.
Hmm.
So I'm constantly picking up any issue of that I can find. We're both a couple of David Mack lovers over here. Some of these, if you guys saw my reel, you may have already seen. So I'm sorry. But
Hey,
I love. Didn't you show this off last week?
literally, I thought, yeah, last week.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So when I saw this, I was like, "Oh man, I just saw this. I'm so happy that I'm finding this right now." Because
yeah.
when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I want that,"
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Kang. I love the character design. And I'm just like really bummed that the character is kind of hurting right now.
Yeah.
I hope that one day he can make a full comeback because the whole thing's stupid. But we won't get into that. At that Fallout Comics in Portland, I found the first eight issues of this Superman Batman run for like $15. And then this complete
Oh,
uh General Grievous miniseries. It's 4 issues, and I only have 3 here, but I got all 4.
okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then lastly, man, like the last 2 years of Portland trips, I've had really big hits. I find,
Uh-oh.
several $100 books for,
Oh,
single
no.
digits, maybe 15, $10. Fallout Comics, $3 bins. I found Aliens #1 from I think 88.
Wow.
So this is the first appearance of the xenomorph in comic books.
Hmm.
In a really cool anime style. And this is the first printing. There was like 6 printings, 5 or 6 printings of this.
Hmm.
So obviously the later printings don't have much value, but the first printing of issue #1 goes for anywhere from like 80 to $150.
Nice.
Like a 9.8 is like, yeah, around that 150 to $200 range.
Mhm.
And this is a strong candidate. Especially for a black cover. It's got sharp edges, no spine ticks, nothing. I mean, it's clean. So the Portland streak continues.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Um a quick little pickup from West Coast Avengers claim sale last Wednesday. Um, Actually sold this to Omega Collectibles. I used to have this run. I sold it to him, and it was like one of those immediate regrets. Like
Mhm.
seemed like a fine idea at the time, and then when I sold it, I was like, I wish I still had that in my collection. So picked this up from Dave. The entire Secret Wars Volume 1 run.
Nice.
And of course, it's got the big boy in it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So happy to have that back. I will not be letting that go again. I have one more book I want to show off, but it's a big one.
Oh, okay.
So I'll show off. Picked up a couple figures that I've
Mhm.
been looking for. Shout out to my cousin, Wicked Witch of the Northwest, who actually found them and picked them up for me. Bizarro.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And then this was a little disappointing because he found her. I literally had ordered her that the
Mhm.
same day. And then later that evening he texted me the picture. He had found Jade. So I went ahead and picked her up because I had messaged my new buddy whose big figure collection I checked out a couple
Mhm.
months back. I text him to see if he needed it. He does. So I'll go ahead and he doesn't actually. His daughter wants her. So
Oh,
when he's insisting on paying me, but because it's for his kid, I'm like, no way. And I fully, I've got a daughter too. I would
mhm.
love for her to be into this stuff. So I'm like, my payment is that your daughter wants this, and I get to gift it to her. So I'm gonna give that to him for her, because I've got another one coming. Lastly,
Okay.
Green Lantern is not the only run that I completed this last week. Another big one is the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 1 run.
Oh, really?
Um, I had one big issue left. I've been having a really hard time finding it, and I just happened to be in. I don't hop into too many live sales these days, but I
Mhm.
happen to be hop into my buddy Paul Bond, Bricks Co Comics. He's over on the East Coast. He was having a live sale. I hopped in, and like within a book or two, he posted up the last book I needed for my Ninja Turtles run.
Mhm.
Uh, I made him an offer on it. He accepted. Uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #4.
There you go.
Um,
Very nice.
really, really nice copy.
Yeah.
Clean spine, white cover that's really clean, crispy edges. Yeah, I'm done with this run, man. It's
That's
complete.
awesome.
Like probably the two biggest significant runs of my collection are done, and I just kind of like don't know where to go now. You know?
That's
Yeah.
crazy, dude. That's awesome. Like, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
the order. That's awesome, dude. Um, so sorry, I'm going through the chat here. Samrock was saying, I'm going to Niagara Falls Comic Con on Saturday, so I'll have some cool pics and collectibles to show off next week. I'll send you pictures. Which reminds me, he sent me a really cool picture.
Oh yeah, he's gotten some stuff.
Did you see that? I don't know if you saw these,
Yes,
but he
dude.
was, I guess these are a bunch of DC figures from like his childhood.
Yeah.
Um,
So those are like the DC Direct figures, I believe, and they're pretty nice actually. Decent articulation and whatnot.
I was gonna say some of the face sculpts look better than some of the stuff coming out these days.
Yeah, that really wasn't a bad run,
No,
honestly.
I
As a
mean,
matter of fact, McFarlane's kind of redone some of it. Like I want to say that some of the animated series figures were originally DC Direct that he's now reproducing. I might be wrong though.
I believe a few of them are for sure. I
Yeah.
think so. Trying to think
But yeah.
what else he would have sent me. Yeah, I don't think there's really too much else. But yeah, Sam's going to Niagara Comic Con. We're going to look forward to seeing what he's got to show us. YouTube addict. uh, Whereabouts in Canada? I'm in British Columbia, beautiful BC, West Coast. Currently in Kelowna, heading back to Vancouver Island, hopefully soon. Razor Ramen saying I'm still missing the 6 issues to complete that run. I believe he's referring to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I can I can imagine. I mean, you can probably attest to it. You're in the end game, right? Like that's got to
Yeah.
be last
It's
couple.
it's tough because there's a solid chunk of that series that's really hard to find.
Mm,
And to be fair, I mean for you know, so like my issue #1 is a third printing. I probably will never own a first printing.
mm,
I may upgrade to a second printing someday, but I mean we're talking like the first printings go for 5 figures, the second printings go for 4 figures,
mm,
even the thirds are in the high threes. Um, Whatever, like my issue #3 is a second printing. That's because I like the second printing cover more.
mm.
So some people may not consider it complete. I don't really care. I have issues 1 through 62, so screw off.
um, I'll show just a quick few things that I got. Nothing
Yeah.
too exciting, just from last New Comic Book Day. I thought this was really funny. We must have manifested this James Stokey
Oh, that's
Adventure
right.
Time cover because we talked about him quite a bit last show, and the next day I go into the comic book shop, and sure enough, they had this. They call it like a deluxe edition issue of Adventure Time.
Yeah, that's great.
Kind of hard to see, but the artwork is awesome. Came with a bunch of stickers, so that was a fun little one. The new Spawn series got that black and white McFarlane cover.
Mm.
I can't remember what this series was called.
Medieval.
No, the Curse of Shirley
Oh yeah,
Jackson.
yeah.
Yeah, the new one that yeah, the new one that's come out there. I think it's about the Violator clown.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, his mother.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So that's a fun one. And then I forgot I ordered this cover, but I'm pretty sure I ordered it while we were on the show. This James Gunn
Oh
Superman
yeah.
Unlimited new Superman run. Uh, and so there's the cover with James Gunn on there. I was like, hey, you know what? That's
Pretty
fun.
cool.
I
Yeah.
liked it. Uh, for figures, I pulled the trigger on another one of these model kits. This time it was another Digimon.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if we can really see it too well there, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is a Metal Garurumon. I don't know if I've ever really showed it off, but the tattoo on my arm is of Garurumon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so this was I I bought this kit, I think yesterday or the day before. I think it was on Sunday, and I just was like, I need to build this right away, and I built it all in like in 2 days or something.
Wow.
Um, so I've definitely am going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you sure are.
Yeah, it's gonna be really bad, but I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Um, there was a really big piece of comic news today. Sorry, I'm just trying to like blast through everything because we're already at
I
an hour.
know. Yeah.
30.
I
Uh,
want to say hi to Stu from Doctor Doom's fan club as well. We'll need to get him on one of these days.
yes.
He's
Uh,
the other half of Eric 9 Panel Grids.
hmm,
Oh, we talked about it last week.
yeah.
God, my memory is such garbage, man. Great show.
It's it's a busy life. Uh, but the big piece of comic book news, which might be the news of the year potentially, uh, Batman and Deadpool comic book
Yeah.
coming out. Um, do you have any initial thoughts on this?
Uh, well, with all the when it was announced and there was a lot of with all the speculation, my initial thoughts were a little underwhelming.
Mm,
Um, didn't excite me that much.
that's fair. I feel like it's I feel like we were all expecting some big grand Marvel versus DC, Justice League versus Avengers kind of thing. At least that's what I was anticipating.
Well, but then I think it came out that it was gonna be just kind of like some one shots, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I just love
I
Batman, not the biggest fan of Deadpool, so I don't know. Not that
I
excited for it.
I think I'm excited for this because well, obviously it's Marvel and DC crossing over. Um, but I hate to say it, but Deadpool's kind of makes the most sense for me going into this crossover. Like I think it will be a lot of fun. Like I think I don't think it's going to be a serious story. I don't think it's going to mean anything other than it's just going to be a fun, goofy, like it's going to sell, right? Like I think
Yeah.
they know it's going to sell. Um, so yeah, I think they knew exactly what they were doing. I think I agree. It is a little underwhelming considering it feels like they could have gone bigger with it, but
Sure.
I'm still really looking forward to this. And even looking at this cover art, and I think this is the main cover. I think um, there's just like all these weird, creepy angels in the background,
Hmm.
and like that almost intrigues me more than like the actual Deadpool and Batman part. Because I'm like, what is the situation that these two characters are going to find themselves in? And come on, I mean, Batman being dark and broody with Deadpool, poking at his side, that's going to be funny.
Yeah.
That that's going to be a good laugh.
Yeah,
Uh,
I guess we get so caught up in like, meaningful storylines and good writing and it, like occasionally it's okay to just have fun,
mhm.
like I'm enjoying the Justice League and Sonic series, and
Yeah.
that's there's nothing meaningful about that series other than it's just nostalgic. It's a mashup of two different worlds that I enjoy. I guess I'm just not the biggest uh Deadpool fan,
Mm.
so maybe I would have preferred a different character. But yeah, I'm gonna get it, and I'm sure it's gonna be fun. Um, but yeah, just I guess it just didn't hit me like I wasn't super excited about it, but I will be getting it. I will be reading it and probably enjoying it.
Is there two characters? So we'll exclude Batman because I feel Batman's just the obvious answer. Is there another DC character and a Marvel character you would like to see paired up in that kind of style, in that kind of format?
Well, I mean, with this one, I would have enjoyed Batman pairing up with Moon Knight. I think that would be,
Yeah.
especially current. If they could build off of some of the current stuff, which they probably wouldn't.
Mhm.
But I just think that stuff would go really well, especially if you know got Jed McKay on it, or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Um, that could have been really fun. But Deadpool's gonna generate way more hype, especially just for your someone who's not as into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I mean other than maybe like a Wolverine, in there somewhere with another character. I don't know. Like they could have done like just go really like odd ends. I mean, that's kind of I guess what they did with Deadpool and Batman. It's like they're just two opposite ends of the character spectrum.
Yeah, well, and
Like
they also have to do something. Well, they don't have to, but ideally, they're going to do something that hasn't been done yet. And you had a lot of these crossovers back in the day, so um, yeah, it's a fresh pairing. Yeah, we'll see.
let's see what we got here. Samrock says I have a bunch of the Marvel DC crossovers comics, so I'll be picking that one up. I think what would be cool Marvel DC is Nightwing and Spider-Man. Yeah, that's a that's a good pairing. Um, Razor Ramon saying he agrees, thinks it's an odd pairing. And Wicked Witch of the PNW saying looking forward to it as well. um, New comic book day tomorrow.
Yeah,
Anything you're really stoked about or looking forward to,
yeah.
or just
I
remember is
had I
coming
had
out?
a bigger pull than normal. Definitely the two absolutes, Batman and or not Batman, Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, I
Void Rivals. Um,
believe we've got
Guns.
Hush.
Yeah, Hush,
Yeah,
which is another one. It's like people have been very critical of it because there's not a lot of it's not continuing any current storylines up to the point it started. Um, Not a ton of meaning behind it, but again, it's kind of just like bringing you back to something it's just fun. It's generated some new hype. It's gotten people back on the pull lists. So yeah, I just think, yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing Hush too.
I think another one that I'm really looking forward to this week, and I I feel bad because I haven't read issue one yet, is the Predator versus Spider-Man series. Issue two comes out this week,
Yeah.
but I'm saving that one because I'd like to have. I think it's probably gonna be 3 or 4 issues.
Okay.
I'd like to have all of those together before reading it. Um, Mr. Terrific year one starts this week, um, which I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know if there was too much else. A couple indie things, Hornsby and Hollow, uh, yeah, Void Rivals, Gunslinger, Hyde Street, for anyone on that. Assorted Crisis events, the Power Fantasy. Yeah, lots of cool indie stuff. Man, indie stuff is just yeah, it's
Yeah.
the time to be alive for indie indie
Yeah.
stuff.
Seriously.
Uh, I guess we're definitely gonna be talking about Martian Manhunter #3 next week.
Yeah. Every time a new issue comes out,
Yeah.
that's been so good. I'm really Wonder Woman's up there too. I'm all cut up in that finally, and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, out of all of them, that's probably been my favorite, just because we're not too far along in Martian Manhunter yet.
Mhm.
You know, we've got, what are we going to be on issue 9 of Wonder Woman? So we've gotten a lot of story there, and man, I've really enjoyed that.
I'm even caught up. I think I'm maybe one issue behind on Wonder Woman and one issue behind on Batman, but I think I'm caught up on everything now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now,
Yeah, I'm caught up on everything actually, except for Superman. I haven't got any issues of that. Flash,
mhm,
really, really dig the costume. That is
yeah.
a really sweet design. I'm looking forward to continuing that one as well. It definitely picked up.
Oh, right, that's issue 3 came out last week. Okay, I need
Yeah,
to catch up on that one. I
you
haven't read
need
issue
to.
3.
Yeah,
'Cause we talked about issue 2, we were excited. We both came around on issue 2, I think.
yeah,
Okay, so issue 3 came out last week. That's good to know, I forgot.
yeah.
Uh, I know I gotta finish. Dude, I'm so far backlogged on so many things. I'm gonna try to get absolute stuff finished up this week, and then start cracking along on Ultimates. Any of the Ultimate stuff that I'm on right now, I gotta put a good chunk of time into.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap her up there for the evening?
No, I don't think so. That was a pretty full show.
I know, like 15 minutes went by, and I was like, "Oh man, we." It feels like we're still in the intro.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely need to get him back on. I think he's got a lot to get off his chest, and I think that's kind of the route we're going, is just kind of being a place to, introduce people to each other. I've just had a lot of fun with that. Oh, I will say, um, and I'm sorry because I do all of this without consulting you first. But next week we're gonna have Paper Chase, John from Paper Chase, and Reverend Woodworm from Paper Chase Lives as well. Um,
Well, you heard it here first, folks, with me, because I
yeah,
keep thinking, man, we gotta have an episode where it's just me and you chatting again.
yeah. Well, next week is episode 20. It felt like a good milestone episode to get them on. I've been talking about having them on from the get go. John's been a really well, both John and Reverend have both been huge supporters of me. Um, they were one of the first channels to invite me on. And we probably should have had them on a long time ago. Just it's kind of originally we were going to try to do this like once a month, but the shows just go so well with a guest. They're just so much more full. Um, so maybe we do a solo show once a month and have guests on as often as we can. Um, but yeah, those I'll definitely come up with some good topics to talk about with those guys. Reverend's a very unique individual. He likes his superhero ladies, so I'm sure we'll talk about them. And then John just has a really good outlook on the financial aspect of comics. So I think he could bring some good insight to our viewers. And a lot of his following has come over and support us. Zim is one of them. A few people we haven't seen in a little while. Um, I don't know if anybody else in here tonight is from over there. Maybe Razor. Razor might have come from West Coast Avengers, or maybe both. But anyways, they share our show every week. Shows a lot of support, so it's time to get them on.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll do a little Marvel or DC ladies edition.
Yeah, let's do some sort of trivia.
Yeah.
John enjoys that. Like I said, he's got his own game.
Mhm.
I don't know how we would be able to do that, but yeah, fingers and toes. Yeah, is another one that came from Paper Chase. Thanks, Sim.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Awesome. All right, guys. That does it for us. Episode 19 of Paper and Plastic. If Paper and Plastic was a person in Canada, we'd be going to the bar tonight. 19. That's a lot. I don't know how we've been
Oh
doing this for
yeah,
19 weeks. Uh,
really?
yeah,
I
legal
didn't know
age
that.
in Canada is 19 for all of my American friends out there. Uh, don't know why you're watching this, but yeah,
Issue
they,
21. We should crack some beers.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know
Episode
if we can do. Can we do that on YouTube? Yeah, we can have a beer on YouTube. Totally.
yeah, yeah.
You enjoy a brewski every once in a while? All right. Let's do
Well,
that.
yeah,
That'll be our next solo show.
yeah. Episode 21 will have a we'll have an extra wacky episode of Paper and Plastic for you guys.
Yeah.
That's gonna be rough. Okay. All right. There we go. Episode 19. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Tuesday night. You can find us here every Tuesday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. You can follow us on Instagram. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you get notified when we go live. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. See ya. Bye.